But even here in this life, recognizing that the news media, the things that we're feeding ourselves may well be pulling us down. Hey folks, Colin Richards here, and I'm back for yet another episode of the Lord and Richard Show. And in this segment, we're going to continue our discussion of what it means to be wealthy, healthy, and happy for life. And today we're going to zero in on happiness, right? Our founders wrote into our founding documents that it is our right to pursue happiness. And I want us to be happy, right? And what are the keys to happiness? Well, I didn't have as much to say when I was younger as I do now, but as I've gotten a little grayer and a little less in the hair, and as I've had a little bit more experience in life, particularly not only as a financial advisor, but as a pastor. So I have the privilege of leading a congregation as a volunteer. I've learned that one of the most critical pieces of happiness is to have a vibrant faith in God. And of course, as a Christian, my faith is placed directly in the Lord Jesus Christ. But what that means for me is that life is about more than me. And these are the happiest people on earth, right? The people who are not living for themselves. I get it. I mean, I want you to enjoy life, take the vacations, have the nice cars and the toys, enjoy the great experiences. You know, I can say that my family is in a position to do all of that because of financial independence, which we teach at Lord and Richards. But without a faith that teaches you to look beyond yourself, we'll find ultimately those things do not satisfy. They do not fulfill. And it's as you invest your lives in others for a cause that's greater than you, for something that's eternal and not temporal, that you achieve true happiness. Love, right? Those are going to be tremendously important qualities and virtues as you move forward in life. And so, you know, maybe faith has been on the back burner for you all these years. Maybe you're at a point where you've been burned. Maybe you had a bad experience in church or a bad experience with so-called believers. I want to urge you to lift your eyes a little bit higher than just the building or the people, but I want you to look to the God that they purport to serve. And I want you to look at him because he's faithful. And so when we roll our burdens onto him, he's faithful. God is not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. You know, the Lord Jesus Christ promised that to every single one of us. I will never leave you or forsake you. In Romans, Paul talks about this extensively. He says, you know, who's going to separate you from God's love? Nothing, neither height nor depth, nor tribulation, nor anguish, nor peril, nor sword. Nothing can separate you from God's love. And so I'd really encourage you, you know, if that's been on the back burner, I want you to consider turning your heart back to God and experiencing the real joy and fulfillment that comes from his presence in your life. And then watch what he does for you. Just watch what he does for you as you're faithful. I talked in our wealth segment about making sure that we follow a 5-step expense plan. You can put it on 5 fingers if you want. And the first one is to learn how to give, right? That's looking outside of ourselves to others. And so that's critical, that vibrant faith. The second area is family love and togetherness. And by the way, I don't have to tell you that actually studies are backing up what I'm saying. I'm not reciting studies. I'm reciting my own personal experience with these things. I know people have broken homes. I know that. I'm a person who comes from a home that was once broken and was put back together, thanks to God. But you know, a family is vital. And some of you may have been widowed, divorced, you feel alone. Let's have a family of faith, right? Get back into faith and you'll discover what family truly is. Let's build a family of togetherness with people that we're close to outside of ourselves. Yeah, it's a risk, right? Love is always a risk because love is about giving without expecting anything in return. You see, society says, oh, take a marriage relationship. It's a 50-50 deal. No, it's not. That is not the road to happiness. I did my part. Why aren't you doing your part? That's the result of thinking 50-50. What love is, it's 100-0. It means that you give everything. You don't expect anything in return. You say, well, that doesn't sound very great. Well, it's actually what God did for us, right? So God so loved us that he gave everything that was important to him, his own son. And so you do that, I promise you, what's going to be produced in the heart of that person that's loved unconditionally like that is going to be a joy and a blessing to you. It's going to come back to you many, many fold. And togetherness. So many families are scattered. Let's sit down and eat together. Let's be together. I know I'm in an industry where workaholism is chronic. It's epidemic, where people's whole lives are caught up in my career, right? If my work's not going well, my life is shattered. Well, I want you to know there's more than work. And the togetherness time with family is vital. And if your work is driving you to be out of balance in terms of your relationship with your wife or your children or others in your family, then consider making a change, even if it means taking a pay cut, right? Because I'm going to tell you, at the end of life, and I have a lot of end-of-life discussions in the roles that I'm in, both financial advisor and pastor. At the end of life, it's not going to matter to you the size of the paychecks that you earned or how big of a house, how many cars, how many toys, even the achievements at work, salesman of the year. None of that's going to matter. What's going to matter is what was the quality of the relationships with the people that matter the most to you. That's what's going to matter at the end of life. And then here's one that we don't talk about enough, but it's mental and physical toughness. Mental and physical toughness. First of all, we got to take great care of ourselves, health, to make sure we're tough, right? So we're going to have to get in that exercise 5 times a week, 30 to 45 to 60 minutes a day. You say, oh, that's too big of a commitment. I'm too busy in my career. I'm too busy with that. Listen, what you fail to invest in your body and your health today, you will reap the fruit of that failure in later life. And so even if you're already in your 60s, 70s, and you really haven't thought about this or given it a priority, I want you to get some equipment. I want you to get outdoors. I want you to start moving and then gradually increase that intensity. That's what your body was designed to do, to fight back aging. And so we want that physical toughness, right? Where we're not inclined to be blown over by a stiff wind. This is what happens as we get older. We have sarcopenia, muscle loss. We start to lose our balance, and one thing leads to another. But also mental toughness and fitness, right? Keeping our minds active. One of the big mistakes I see is people retiring early. Now, it's great. I'm trying to get my clients all the time to retire early, but I'm not talking about retiring early from a job. That's one thing. But kind of checking out on life, sitting at a computer, sitting on a couch in front of a TV, just watching life go by. Get up, get moving, and get purposeful. Volunteer or start a new career, something that you love. Have a purpose in life, again, that goes beyond you, and get mentally tough even in your later years, because what's going to happen is that cognitive decline is going to set in, and we don't want that. And then positivity. One of the most important things in the world is to maintain a positive attitude. If you're a Christian, that's real easy, right? Because we know that the battle is won and eternity is secure. And we have an eternal relationship with God. But even here in this life, recognizing that the news media, the things that we're feeding ourselves, may well be pulling us down. If you're getting a steady diet of Fox News or whatever you watch, and that's your perspective, I can tell when I meet with you. Because people come in and they're paranoid. I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, "Well, if you get subpoenaed, do you have to reveal my information?" I'm like, "Wow, that is paranoid." I've never been subpoenaed. I've never had to reveal anybody's financial information. People feel like our government is against us. Well, are there knuckleheads in government? Absolutely, just like in every other area of life. But I just traveled back from Myanmar. Now, it doesn't take more than a couple beats to realize, yeah, we probably should be a little bit more grateful. We could be living under a military dictatorship. So we should be grateful. I literally kiss the ground when I come home. I literally do, because we're in a wonderful place. Well, I'm going to continue this discussion in our next segment, but if you're intrigued by what you hear and you're interested in talking to somebody who's not only interested in your wealth, but also in your health and your happiness and well-being as a financial advisor, then Lord & Richards may be the right fit for you. I'd love to talk to you more about the steps you can take to be healthy, wealthy, and happy for life. It just starts with a simple phone call.